I get this question all of the time. Why didn't I just go to NP school? Why did I have to waste my life and time and take a much longer route to go to medical school? So part of this video is just breaking down why I chose to go to medical school and not nurse practitioner school as a former registered nurse. For those who are new here, I started my career as a registered nurse. Sometime during my career, I decided that I wanted to know more and do more, and did not feel totally sure about which path to take. There were several different paths that I could have taken, NP, PA, and ultimately I decided on medical school for a multitude of factors, which I will go into in this video. If you're an RN who's debating between NP or MD, I hope that me breaking down my thought process will give you some insight on what I learned along the way and will help you make your decision as well. NP school feels like the logical next step for a registered nurse, mainly because a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, or a BSN, basically sets you up to go and directly enter an NP program, which can vary in length of training. So it can be between 1 year to 3 years, depending on what type of nurse practitioner you want to be. It seems more the most logical step. I mean, it's a direct route from the undergrad experience, and if you have experience as a registered nurse, going into nurse practitioner training just feels very streamlined. So I definitely thought about that long and hard. I did things like toured NP school in the Pacific Northwest, one of the top schools in the nation. I also shadowed nurse practitioners, one of which I became very close with. She became quite like a mentor to me. And I just remember working with her one day, and she turned and looked at me and said, if she was my age and if she could do it all over again, she would choose medical school. Of course, her reasoning is not going to be similar to other people's experience as a nurse practitioner, but she told me that her job felt like she was a glorified resident or a forever fellow, a person who's trained but not quite become, say, a physician. Now, that's her experience. That's not to categorize or say that all nurse practitioners feel this way. That's just, someone who was close to me, who mentored me, who I shadowed and tried to kind of glean what kind of career she had. That's how she felt about it. That left a huge impression on me, because here I am trying to figure out what route I should take. And one of the first nurse practitioners that I shadowed is telling me that for sure, if she could do it again, she would go the medical school route, mainly because she felt like she had reached the capacity of her career and her training, yet she still felt like there was more that she could know and learn, and probably could have received if she'd gone to more rigorous training like medical school and residency training. One of the other things that I did was look up all of the nurse practitioner programs that I could think of that was geographically near where I was or could be convenient for me to take, say, online. It didn't particularly sit well with me that so much of the curriculum in nurse practitioner school was so varied. Some took people directly from undergrad. You didn't even need registered nurse experience or clinical experience. That didn't really sit well with me. How can I become a provider or feel like I'd become a confident or competent provider without really strong clinical background? A lot of the clinical hours that were required were less than 800 hours before you become a full-fledged provider, healthcare provider. And the hours of training, or the years of training really varied. So some were completely online and you can do it in 2 years, some were 3 years, some were very super accelerated 18-month programs that were completely online, and it was up to you to find all of your clinicals. And part of that just felt like I just wanted more support. Like if I was gonna go and learn how to become a healthcare provider, I just wanted more support from the institution that I was learning from. And with medical school, the first 2 years is didactics. You learn through lectures and either in a lecture hall or online, and then you do your last 2 years as clinicals. My program actually only spent 18 months on the didactics part because they wanted us to have as much clinical experience as possible. from after that 4 years of medical school, then you go into a residency training. And during residency, that can vary between 3 years to 7 years, depending on what type of specialty you want to go into. Me personally, I'm doing diagnostic radiology, which is a really important point here, because had I gone to nurse practitioner school, there's no way I would have been able to do diagnostic radiology. Radiology is a specialty that requires medical training, and you have to go to medical school to become a diagnostic radiologist. That door would have been completely closed for me had I gone to nurse practitioner school. So I always feel very grateful that I chose a path that opened the most doors for me, that gave me the most options. And that's one of the important points that I like to make about medical school, is that you never know if your mind might change, if doors might open for you that you never even thought about because you were never exposed to it. Now, if you go to medical school, those doors open. It doesn't close doors for you. Whereas if I chose nurse practitioner school, I feel like it would have closed doors for me. Even though it's a very flexible and also an amazing career in and of itself, it just didn't feel like the right decision for me at that time. Another point that I like to make about this topic is that I wanted the rigorous training that is required from medical school. I wanted to get really in-depth with pathophysiology and learn how to diagnose people. Ultimately, I'm going to be the final decision maker. In the end, I did want the most comprehensive medical education that I can get. I think that going to medical school provided me that. It supported me in all the fundamental things that I should know, being a clinical decision maker, and I am very glad that I chose that path. Now, was it much harder probably and longer? Yes. But I have absolutely no regrets. I'm so happy that I chose it. I get to be training to become a diagnostic radiologist now, and I am just really grateful that I chose this path. And I'm here to really try to encourage and empower other nurses to think outside of the box and not go routes that you think that you have to take because everyone else is telling you that you should. Just know that there are other options for you that might open doors that you never thought were even possible, because it was never maybe an option before as a nursing route. I do want to make it clear that the nurse practitioner route can absolutely be the right choice for some people. I just didn't feel like it was the right choice for me, but it is an incredible career. I've worked with nurse practitioners in general surgery, in family medicine, and dermatology. Nurse practitioner route can open doors for you as well. And just know that it's also an exciting and awesome and growing career. But for me personally, I did not feel like it was the right choice for me because of wanting more options and just knowing that the type of person that I am, I will always probably hit a ceiling of, but I want to know more, but why? And I knew that I would always ask myself, why didn't I go to medical school if I hadn't done it in the first place? At the end of the day, it's really just choosing the route that is right for you. I chose the route that I felt like was right for me, and I don't think that there's a right or wrong path. It's just what feels good to you. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking about going the RN to MD route and what's holding you back. This is kind of my attempt to get back onto YouTube, so it'd be really helpful if you guys would subscribe, like, comment on this video to kind of give me a understanding of if you want these videos and if they're helpful for you. Thanks.